imagine if an SJW got a hold of this stream right now? Oh my, we would be blacklisted.
We're canceled. We're canceled every which way.
Of course, yeah. If Kenobi's a jumbled mess like that, a lot of fans are. It's not going to be good.
The guy with the guy in the cloak with the hood, you know,
Again, a lot of people, a lot of people are really mad about that, man. Hello, my friends and good company. My God, it is so strange being back on camera after so long. I feel like I'm in a different world. I've had to be a real human and interact with other human beings in real life over the past, few weeks. But I have missed all of you dearly. There are 10 people here. My God, I didn't think there were going to be so many. Thank you so much for joining us. It is another late night, and I am joined by my good friend, my companion, Grand Moff Rissman. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good. We're here. We're doing it again.
We're doing this again. We're doing this.
This is my second stream of the evening, or no, yesterday. Now it's today, but it's okay. It's okay. We can do this.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Honestly, guys, I missed you a bunch. I promised myself I was not going to be on YouTube until I was done with the honeymoon, but it's been too long. I miss you guys too much. I miss you. And look at all these people here. Look at Darth Weaven's here, Star Wars Ladage, Nathan Emmert, my good friend. Star Wars Meg is here. Meg, what are you doing here? Hi,
Just
Meg.
woke up. I mean, at her time, it's, wake up now,
Oh my God, YouTube keeps muting me. Ronnie is here. Hi. Obsession is making these hats. They are absolutely wonderful. So, welcome everybody to another late night stream. Rissman, you and I were very recently together in IRL, in real life. IRL at my wedding, where some very interesting things
Somehow I survived. Somehow I'm still here. I don't know how that happened.
We made it through the wedding. So you got penis charmed by Mr. Dr. Strange at my rehearsal dinner, which was great.
A fake Dr. Strange. He was a fake.
It was awesome. My fiance was in the emergency room, and we were at the rehearsal dinner. You got Dr. Stranged by a guy who said you now have a smaller penis.
This did happen. Yes.
It's all a very true story. Yeah, we were at the rehearsal dinner and having a good time. I thought everybody was enjoying themselves, and some random guy literally just
just there for the food. He was just there for the food. He wanted something.
Dude just walks into the rehearsal dinner, and this Italian guy is like, "You have to leave. You have to leave. You have to get out of here." And the guy did the Doctor Strange. And Rissman didn't hear it.
I got wronged. We all got wronged.
I don't think you heard it because the charm was directed towards you, but he was like, "You now have a smaller penis. You now have a smaller penis," and just did that to you, and then walked out of the rehearsal dinner.
Well, he was escorted. Away.
He was escorted, yeah, heartily escorted out of there. But so anybody who's wondering, essentially everything that could have gone wrong with the wedding went wrong. I had a fiance in the hospital the night before the wedding. We set up a bunch of tents, and then Nevada was like, "Nah, fam," and just wiped out the tents, and we had to redo the whole wedding. And then essentially an hour before the wedding, everything was set up, and we had
No, this is not exactly. This is mostly true. Not the tents were knocked over, but we moved all the chairs from one way over here over the other place. We moved all the tables. We moved the sitting area, and then me and your father held up the wedding arch for an hour and a half.
Right? Yeah, you were holding the wedding arch. Yeah, for a hot minute.
And so it could be all dressed up and everything.
Rissman was an integral part of my wedding, but so yeah, that was that whole thing. And I want to apologize to everybody. I'm sorry. I know I wish I could have been here because there's so much going on in pop culture right now. So much stuff we have to talk about. So many different opinions that need to be shared needlessly on the internet about what's been going on. Because, oh my God, we have Rings of Power that's been out now. We have House of the Dragon that's out right now. We have She-Hulk that's out right now. I'm going to leave it to anybody who's here what you want to hear first. But before we do any of that, Rissman,
we had so much Star Wars content today or yesterday.
I was gonna say, before we do any of that, let's talk about the stuff that happened at D23 today, because I messaged Meg. I was like, does anybody else have a boner right now after that Tales of the Jedi? Because
I have to say, because when I was on the EBN stream earlier, and I put I put the trailer up and all that. Everyone was all about Tales of the Jedi because it looks so great. And then by the way, I paused it a couple times. Yaddle's on the side and doing the whole thing. But and I had to get clarification. There's an Inquisitor with the mask is on.
Did they have the badge?
No, but they had the sigil. No,
but did they have the Grand Inquisitor badge? We know from Kenobi that they're not actually a Grand Inquisitor unless they have the badge.
Not the Grand Inquisitor. It was just the Inquisitor. And I was like, who is this Inquisitor with the mask on and all this kind of stuff?
You're not letting me fuck with you, Matt, and it's very upsetting.
I know. But amazing. Just looks amazing.
Meg is in the minority. It is tough being an American Samoa 6'5" male in the United States, especially living in Connecticut. I'm sorry.
That comment made it seem like she thinks it might not be good.
What?
No, look at the comment.
Talking about Tales of the Jedi. So for me, when I watched that trailer for Tales of the Jedi, like immediately the thing that stuck out to me was the Dooku book. It wasn't what was the name of that book? When Dooku was young and he was, what is the name of that? Somebody remind me what the EU book was when Dooku was young. Somebody help me. And he's got the dragon that's deep down below and he's working and he's doing
Jedi Lost. They're saying Jedi Lost.
Yeah, Jedi Lost. Yeah, Jedi Lost. Yeah. I got real Jedi Lost vibes from seeing like the young Dooku. I got so excited. I'm like, oh shit, it's totally that kind of that era. What was the other one? It was the one I didn't read that had a lot more Asajj Ventress in it. There was Jedi Lost, and then there was another one that was a lot more about like Asajj Ventress, and I didn't read that one, but I did read Jedi Lost.
You know me, I don't read any of the print media because it doesn't matter, so I have no idea.
Fuck wrong with you?
it all gets
Dark
Filoni.
Disciple.
It all gets
Thank you.
Filoni.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. All right, we got to get into the chat now. We got to get into the chat.
No.
Right.
The point that Meg is making is the same point that I was making with Shiva Lost earlier. It's getting Filoni'd, right? I mean, you know, they're taking little bits and pieces away from the Ahsoka novel and they're retconning it or recontextualizing it. And some of the rest of it, it's a tough one, right? Because up until now, it's the headcanon isn't just headcanon, it's the written canon. That's why I was just making the joke about I don't read the books because it all gets fucked up. Right?
Okay.
And I think that's part of this. You can see it in the trailer, from the trailer up or whatever, where you can see there's Padme's funeral.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw that.
And I'm sure Ahsoka's there someplace, and some of the rest of it, it's tough.
So what are they recontextualizing? What have I missed? What did I miss in the trailer? Because I saw it and I'm just like, and I'm listening to it because I'm an ear boy.
Well, you did exactly what you are the perfect You are the perfect Disney shill. You're doing exactly.
You fucking asshole! No, I
was. you're just like, ooh, yeah, new animated content.
What the fuck? No, I was watching and I'm listening. Right? I'm a big ear whore. Anybody who's a musician, anything like that, I like it.
I have it. You want to put it? Let's watch. We can watch it.
I'm an ear boy.
That boy Steve wants to.
So I was listening, but is there something that I missed inside that trailer that is like,
yes,
that's damaging to canon in Star Wars?
Kind of, yeah.
What was it?
Like, I'm coming. Give me a second, gracious sakes.
I'm not gonna give you a second to come. If you're gonna do it, fucking do it right now. But
it's coming.
Okay.
Oh. Everywhere. Gotta pause it, and I gotta take the old things off. Do this, and then let me share it.
Oh, okay. Explain yourself, Meg. Meg, get on here. What the fuck are you talking about? I must have missed it completely. There's something that I missed.
Here it is. Put it on.
All right, hold on. Let me get the music down. Okay. Who's Pav T?
Is life, but
that Shakti's mom.
Here.
So there's Padme's funeral.
Yeah, and so somewhere in all this mess, Ahsoka's there. Not supposed to be, but okay. Well, I mean,
where?
Well, she's here. She's not visible, but she's here in this mess someplace. That's number one.
Okay.
Honor it.
And then we have the White Tree of Gondor, right? Makes sense.
Jedi.
So this is interesting to me.
So that was the only thing that kind of caught my ear for a minute. Like, she's a Jedi. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Are they supposed to? Is it something at like birth?
Like Togruta just know that she's gonna be a Jedi. Like Togruta just have this thing where they're like, ooh, and they have the Mufasa stripe on the forehead.
Mufasa. That's all. We don't need to go into Mufasa because there's a whole other Mufasa. I thought that was, for me personally, I thought that was a little strange. Right?
For the Togruta to just immediately be like, oh, she's a Jedi. Like, how the fuck do you know she's a Jedi? You're Togruta. What are you talking about?
Because she did the Grogu on the. I don't know.
But is that so offensive that it like ruins this show for you, or?
Well, but I don't know the context, right? The part of the issue is I didn't do the Ahsoka book, right? So I don't know how much of this.
None of this was in the Ahsoka book.
Okay.
So far as I remember, I mean, I did the audiobook with Ashley, but I don't remember any of this in the Ahsoka book.
Well, so Meg's like, they announced another live action Lion King film for that's Mufasa.
Yeah, it's Mufasa.
It's the Mufasa film. Yeah.
Super excited about that one.
I didn't see any Lion King. I haven't seen the first or the third, or I have no Lion King from.
Honestly, like a lot of people were super pissed about the live action Lion King. I was like, it was fine for me. I didn't think it fucked anything up. Maybe I'm blind. Okay, let's continue. Oh, see, oh, did you hear that ear?
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Just brain raped me when I heard that. And look at that! Look at the. This is like early Anakin, right? Got some early Anakin. You got phase ones with the DCs. Like,
but
okay.
Did you see the new clip in Andor with all the phase ones in the garrison?
Twos.
Those were twos, right? Oh, that's right.
Phase twos. Yeah, phase twos that were like they were not aiming at all. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But these phase ones, I'm liking it. And just that lightsaber ignition right off the bat, just horny bones. Okay.
And so Meg's asking about the Pinocchio remake. That's a whole different. Welcome.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll probably talk about
that. Different thing.
Master Dooku.
I want to bring peace and order to the galaxy.
Yeah, see, and this is, oh my God, young Dooku. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And Qui-Gon's like, no, what are you doing? I lost control again.
Dude, young Qui-Gon, let's fucking go.
It is the only way you will truly have victory, my Padawan.
Oh, look at young Qui-Gon, looks so good. And you got Mace with young Dooku, like, oh, wow.
I keep pausing it because I don't want to skip, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I really don't
I know.
give a shit.
Earlier today, I was like,
the first time I said fuck, it wasn't monetized, so I don't care about that. B, like, let's watch this shit. But still, I mean, like, oh God, look at Dooku go. I'm just.
Oh wait, right there is this is the whole leak, right? Where he's like, it's the he's got him by the throat, right here. In the next scene, he's like, don't do it, don't do it, right here. He's like, please don't. What are you doing?
I don't think I understand what.
It's on his fall, right? Where he's like, the whole premise is the senator's kid is kidnapped or whatever, and so they're trying to go and blah blah blah. But I don't think it's what we believe it to be, and so he's kind of like, what are you doing and all this kind of stuff. I'm like,
Rissman, I've accepted rings of power, so at this point, like, be gravy to me. I'm like, just
actually, I'm with you. The third episode of Rings of Power wasn't as bad as I.
We're gonna get there. Yeah. Let's finish this up.
Oh wait, Bail is in it.
Bail fail?
Yeah, no, he's in it.
Why is that a bail fail?
He was just there. Look, there he is.
Yeah.
Keep him off his phone. Please keep him off his phone.
Meg, get on the fucking stream because I want to, dude, Rings of Power. I promise I can elaborate and fix everything that you're confused about that show.
I do think you're right. I think it's Gandalf. I think the
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I promise.
Bail fail is here. He's here.
I'm going to help a lot of people here and then press play and then pause. Damn it. We missed the frame.
What?
We missed the frame. We missed the droid torturer. I can't remember his freaking droid designation right now, but
what do we miss?
You remember the guy who's putting the heat on the Gonk droid in the Sandcrawler?
Well, he was the same guy that was Boba Fett's.
He was in Jabba's palace, yeah.
But BD, the Boba Fett.
BD8D? BD8D?
Yeah. He was the one. Yeah.
Is it BD8? It's B. Oh,
BD8D.
Shit, I can't remember. There's a B and an 8 and a D in there somewhere for sure.
Oh, that was cool. Where was that at? That looks cool.
Where's she walking?
Where's she walking? Mm-hmm. Oh, Rex. So that's why I say earlier. I was like, we're gonna have some Rex action.
D8D. I can't remember.
About the coming darkness.
This guy. Which Inquisitor is this? Does anyone know?
Yeah, that's Plague Doctor from season 8 of Doctor Who.
No, that's the wrong answer.
Look, if you're not a real Star Wars fan, I don't know what to tell you.
He's just known as the Inquisitor, and apparently it's the Inquisitor from the Ahsoka novel. But I was like, where did this guy come from? I
don't remember them like describing like a beak or anything. It's kind of like a weird acolyte mask, kind of mixed with like a Plague Doctor. It's cool.
And is this Tarkin? Is this Tarkin in the back?
Highly unlikely, but sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Play now.
This guy.
Come on, play us out, Johnny.
Let's hope all that training pays off.
Oh, Rex. Oh my God, that was Yaddle.
There she was. Look, she's on the she's there. She's there on the ceiling.
Holy fuck, we got Yaddle.
Yes. For a moment, there she's on the ceiling. And then Dooku's gonna kill her.
Yeah, Meg brings up a really good fucking point. Why would there be an Inquisitor?
I said the same thing. Meg is saying the same thing, but it's the Inquisitor from. I had the same.
It
Look,
wouldn't be an Inquisitor at that point. It would just be a Sith. But why would there be
listen, listen. We're going to see it in a
Linda,
second.
Linda.
It's Linda, honey. Listen,
Linda?
It's got to be from the future because on the arm is the Imperial signet.
Yeah, so it's got to be like a
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to
known
flash
as
forward.
so
Dooku's gonna go in the Bacta and have a flash forward vision. Look at you! Oh my god, I missed you so much.
She's not gonna last. She's not gonna last. Oh.
You think she's gonna die in Tales of the Jedi?
There she is. Yeah, no. Dooku's gonna kill her.
Look, if Yoda fought, here, this is what Disney does. This is the reason why Yoda was so upset and fought Dooku so hard in that hangar, was because he killed his wife.
Well, she was never confirmed to be his wife.
Well, still totally his wife.
Look,
there's only two of you left in the galaxy. Who are you gonna bang? Are you gonna bang Shakti or are you gonna bang fucking Yaddle? Think about it. All right. Let's keep playing. Let's keep playing.
An awful lot.
I mean, I would pick Shakti, but
what's happening? What's happening right here?
No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil it for me. Let's move on.
And look, he's going to meet.
It's flat Coruscant again. Oh my god, it's flat Coruscant. Unbelievable.
See, Inquisitor, and who
might you be?
And he's talking to. We'll see in a second. He's talking to Ahsoka. And look on his arm right here.
That's an Imperial cog.
It's clearly fast forwarded somehow.
Yeah.
And who is this?
Okay, so play to the next frame.
It's gonna be in a second. We're gonna see.
And who might you be? Go to the next frame.
Yeah. Who it's gonna be?
Might you be?
Oh shit. Okay, a lot of problems with timelines going on right now.
That's why I say there's something else happening here.
There's some very problem timelines going on right now.
So Meg is saying it's the sixth brother from the Ahsoka novel, and this is one of those things where I didn't read it, so I saw the mask.
Well, so essentially, what happens is like she hand grenades his own saber with him, which would be cool. I mean, that'd be cool to see.
I'm assuming she kills this Inquisitor, right? That must be.
Oh yeah, hardcore. Well, yeah. I mean, in a way, essentially, she hand grenades him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like she doesn't lightsaber slash him, but blows him up. Yeah.
So here we go.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That's it.
Look, I'm like, to me, this could 100% be like a Clone Wars 7 type. People are going to love this. Awesome, good stories kind of thing. I'm down.
All 6 shorts come out on October the 26th.
They're shorts.
Yeah, they're shorts. They're 15 minutes each. So this will be the first of them giving us kind of a binge drop. I don't know what you call it, but a binge drop. All 6 of them at the same time.
Okay. All right, so let's take a minute now. So we've gotten through. Okay, so we got through the Tales of the Jedi, which I'm actually excited about. Seems like a lot of people are kind of pissed, but okay. Rings of Power.
Oh, now you're going somewhere else entirely.
Okay. Are you playing something through your TV or something? I'm hearing myself. I don't like to hear myself. I don't know if you hear that, but so Rings of Power, a lot of people are very fucking pissed off about Rings of Power. For once in my life, when it comes to something that was so hated running up to it, I have a defense for some of the things going on in Rings of Power. Now, granted, before anything happens, I have to remind you, I am not defending in any way, shape, or form that this would be a Tolkien-esque story. But what they've done cleverly in some portions.
I haven't hated watching it. I have to tell you honestly, it's been a little hard to follow, and this is interesting to me, right? Because I think there's a whole different conundrum between House of the Dragon and Rings of Power in regards to the barriers to entry, right? Because House of the Dragon happened so far in the past compared to what we saw in Game of Thrones that I think it's easier for new folks to come and watch it, right? For Rings of Power, I find myself, especially in this last episode, I'm like, Isildur. I'm like, oh,
I know that name.
I know him.
I know that guy.
But I don't remember exactly why. And then I look it up and I'm like, oh shit, right? I was like, and his dad, I was like, oh my God.
So
right?
Here's the fucking problem with Rings of Power, right? People are constantly saying, like, give us a show for the fucking nerds, right? Give us a show for the nerds. Like, we want the lore. We want all the stuff. Rings of Power comes along, and if you don't really know, like, who these people are, if you don't know Numenor, if you don't know the story of the Numenorians, if you don't know the Astari, if you don't know all these different things, like, you walk around, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I have no fucking idea what's happening. And that's where a lot of...
But they made Numenor look beautiful, right? I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean... Numenor looks pretty, and like, Khazad-dûm looks gorgeous, but if you don't know who Balin is, and you don't know where Numenor is, and you don't understand why all these things are happening, nothing makes sense. And so what's so funny is that they created a show for nerds, and they alienated all the nerds that were going to watch it. So now you have the show that is so nerd-centric, and none of the nerds that you should have had watching it are watching it.
Yeah. Well, they turned them off at the beginning, and the rest of us are like, I'm like, okay, it sounds familiar. Like I said to you the other day, I was like, okay, is this before the sword got chopped up? You know, what is going on? I said, I know something about this. I have to look.
4,000 years in the future. Yeah, like nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And I think the funniest part about Rings of Power right now, the funniest part is that everybody was pissed about the Black Lady Dwarf. She's the best fucking character in the show.
Oh, yes.
Disa. Yeah, Princess Disa. Everybody loves Disa. This is just like, this is what happens every time, right? Everybody gets wicked worked up about something, and then you watch the show and you're like, oh shit, okay, wasn't that bad.
For me, one thing I can say about the show is it's not poorly acted, right? The folks who are acting in the show.
Hard disagree.
You think it's poorly acted?
Galadriel? Okay, so here's what's funny is, like, Amazon is like, everybody's racist, fuck you don't like the show because there's black people in it. I'm like, my most hated character in the show is Galadriel. I fucking hate Galadriel.
And why is it?
I told this to my fiance as we were watching. I'm like, name a point in the show when she doesn't do this. My name's Galadriel. I'm the Conamner of North Hamid. I'm a very stoic elf, and there's nothing you can tell me to do anything. Like, do something other than scowl and look upwards at something. Anything. Like, act for a second. Do fucking anything other than just have a little purse lips and just look at the camera and do this. Just do something else. And then you get Disa on screen, and she's like, oh, Raleigh, you come around here, you fucking curry breaker, and you come around and talk about that, you fucking braids it. You're a fake cunt, crate, that puss shit, you stupid cunt. And I'm like, oh my God, I love her. Like, she acted the shit out of that role. She acted the shit out of it. I'm like, oh, fuck. We need more people like that in this show. She's murdering that role.
So
like,
you think so you have one example of someone that you feel like is poorly acted.
Okay, look at oh my god, dude. Celebrimbor, look at oh my god, it's killing me right now. There's so many fucking names in the show. There's so many.
I know, I have to look them up every time.
One of the worst ones is Elrond. Elrond is just driving me nuts right now. And the problem is people are going to say, like, well, he has to have a character arc. He can't just be the Elrond that you see in Lord of the Rings. And they live thousands of years. How much of an arc can you put into, a fucking...
No, that's the question I asked. So is he poorly acting the role, or you
Yes,
just don't?
Elrond is not acting well. Galadriel is fucking insufferable. I fucking hate her. The actress might be an awesome person. Totally plausible. I don't know her at all. I don't know anything about her body of work, but the character of Galadriel in Rings of Power is ruining the fucking show. Ruining the show. It is so hard to watch. It's so hard. It's rough. The dwarves are like murdering it. The Harfoots are so hard to watch. The Harfoots, Elrond. Why is everybody saying Elrond? Elrond. Sorry, I'll put the hard D on the end there. Elrond.
I mean, he wasn't even in the last episode, but okay. I don't have as violent a reaction as you do to the acting, because I'm like it's perfectly fine for a television show, right? I feel like your violent reaction to the way they're acting isn't so much that they're not acting well. It's that the character that they're portraying, you feel like has a different way of interacting, right? Which I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if it's true, if it's not true, or whatever. But I'm like, she's tooling around Nurmdor, and I haven't had this big of a problem with any of their portrayal of these characters, but I'm also not invested so much. I'm looking everything up. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
So I guess for me, like, the big problem is, okay, like, if you're going to use these characters, use them correctly. So Galadriel is like, I'm the commander of the Northern armies. Like, what Northern army? Like, what North? What army? What North? What North are you a commander of, and what army are you? What? Where? Who did you fight? Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but okay, fine. So they go to Numenor, and right, Numenor was this big. It's a big deal, right? In the progression of things. So Numenor is they're bringing it into the story, and Numenor is obviously swallowed by the sea because they say you can't sail west. The only thing you can't do is sail west, right? How are they going to work that into the story, and how does Isildur make his way to Middle Earth, and there's a lot of established shit that they're kind of like beating the bush around that doesn't make a bunch of sense, really. And if that is Gandalf that actually lands in the comet, which everything that we've seen, he's the servant of God, he's the servant of the fire of life, which is why the fire doesn't burn the Harfoots when they go and they see this comet man. Everything that has happened with him looks like Gandalf. He's whispering to the fireflies, just like he whispers to the butterflies, and it's Gandalf. It's Gandalf. He's 4,000 years out of place right now at this point. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's my happy medium? Is this fan fiction? Am I okay with it being fan fiction? And I try to think, like, if this was Star Wars, are we okay with it just kind of fucking being, I'm just kind of watching it as like, well, these guys don't really know what they're talking about, but boy, they spent a lot of money on it.
They did spend
that's kind of where I'm at.
A whole lot of money. So Meg asked about Commander Thyre.
Huh?
She asked a Star Wars question. What would you think about? How would you react if Thyre showed up in Andor?
X-Wing, how would you react if Commander Thyre? Who's Commander Thyre? She's out Star Warsing me. Who's Commander Thyre?
Nobody knows Thyre. Nobody knows Thyre. He's one of the Coruscant Guard. Nobody knows who Thyre is.
Coruscant Guard. Okay, when Coruscant Guard? Like end of post 66, pre Empire?
I think he's to your. For me, he's to your left, but for you, he's probably over your right shoulder. Actually, yeah, I think that may be Thyre. Actually,
yeah, it's a Coruscant Guard.
Yeah.
But Thyre, I don't think I know Thyre. What was his story? Was he in a book? comic?
I don't know, but I think I think Tem is portraying him in Andor, and he's going to be helping Mon Mothma do a couple of things.
Okay, I don't know anything about.
You're muted again.
I'm not gonna lie and say I know anything about Thyre.
I think he's got a tour. I think they've got some time together, and Tim's portraying Thyre in Andor.
Is there like a pre-existing story about Thyre?
I had to look it up. Right when I saw the leak, I had to look it up because I don't, me and Clone Wars not so much. But yeah, there is. You can find it. He has. It's not his first time around the bend. There is a small.
He's been in Clone Wars episodes or what?
Yeah, I can tell you. It's he's CC 4477. I had a trivia question. Let's see.
Thyre's just Thyre with a lisp. That's awesome. Good on you, lad.
It's Ambush on Ragoso. It's one of these Clone Wars things. Yeah, we're gonna see him again.
Dude, I miss this stuff. Where
I'm in a red suit.
are you?
So in regards to the Rings of Power, right? I think for me it's been fine television, right? The production value is good, right? I haven't had as big a problem with the acting apparently as you have, but I'm also not offended by whatever liberties they're taking with the lore or the source material. Because I'm just
Amazon original characters in there that just like don't exist, right? And they gave Isildur a sister, which is like, well, that wasn't a thing. So, do you remember in Lord of the Rings in the movies when they're going down the river and there are the two big statues with their hands going down the river? That's Isildur and his brother, right? There wasn't a sister, and Amazon was just like, let's give him a sister. Like, why? Fuck it. But why?
Well,
why do it? What's the point?
Well, the point is it's 2022 and there should be a sister. I mean, we know what the point is, but I get you, right? I mean, there's
a lot of fluff that doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's some very, very, very important things that happen within the lore of this era that happen. And they mention a lot of that stuff in the show. The blessing of Aragorn and his family line. So Isildur and his father Elendil, like, they're blessed people. This is why like Aragorn lives to be like 180 years old, and why Isildur lives so long, and why Elendil lives so long. Like, there's a lot of stuff that can be talked about in this era, but they're just kind of like like scooting through it, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess we're just fuck it. I don't know.
It's for me. It's again. Anytime I watch a show, any kind of show, right, and it requires me to do any kind of homework or quality check, or did I think about this the right way? Do I have to look at it again? I'm kind of like, I don't. That's why I say it's easier to watch House of the Dragon, right? Because I can get into it because the characters, whether I know anything about Game of Thrones or not, right? The characters are doing their own thing in the context of the story they're telling without any strings attached.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to know anything else. I understand what is happening, right? I can get around it. When I watch Rings of Power, I'm like, okay, I should know something about this, and the place looks familiar, and what is it again? And it's been so long since I saw this, and let me look that up. And I was like, oh, I got it now. It means something, I was like, that was a lot of work.
And that's the weird thing about that show is that, you would not know about one of those aha moments in Rings of Power. So a ship is, turning the corner and somebody goes, Isildur. And Lord of the Rings nerds are like, oh shit, nobody else would know what the fuck that means. Right?
Because I'm right, Isildur ends up being one of Sauron's the when they're around and they're the people that are kind of dead but not dead, right? And they're all that's
Isildur cuts the hand, the ring of power off.
He takes the
Sauron,
ring, and then later he gets trapped into being one of the wraiths.
Well,
right?
he actually got he got shot in the chest with like 9 arrows, and then the ring fell in a river, and that's when Smeagol finds it.
Right, but then later he ends up being one of the wraith people, right? Isildur is one of those that gets cursed. Am I not right? I looked it up earlier. He gets cursed into being one of the wraiths when they're being chased.
So, moving on, I think I would say the most important part, right, is that
he's a ring wraith. I know I'm right.
In House of the Dragon, I always watch the after, like what the directors want you to think, right, after the show. I was listening to one of them talk about how they made the show and what they want you to think, essentially. And it was the most beautiful thing in the world. I heard the director go, so essentially at this point, we've skipped 3 years and we're just asking the audience to play along, pay attention, and see what happens. I'm like, ciao, Bella. Oh my God, I love you. Yes, please keep doing this. And so they say that, and then after that, it's Daemon Targaryen. He's like charging the crab people or whatever, charges the crab people. They're talking about it, and they go, we wanted people to see Daemon charge because he was a man on his last foot. He had to charge, he had to fail. We wanted to show how competent he was as a fighter, but he had to charge against all odds and fail and then come out victorious, so that we saw this little baby arc with Daemon Targaryen, which made us feel like, oh my God, okay, this guy's willing to do anything. And those little micro arcs in an episode can do so much for a character, you know, like that. Those little bit of arcs just... it just makes me so happy. Like the way they talk about the show, the way they expect the audience to fucking keep up, it's just
they're not doing a great job. They're not doing a great job of filling in the blanks, right? For someone who if assuming there is someone watching Rings of Power who's new to the Tolkien franchise, right? And they're watching this show for the first time. There's a lot you have to understand. Even getting through the opening credits, right? There's a lot you have to understand about what's going on for the show to actually mean anything more than just what you're seeing on the surface. And that's where I'm kind of like maybe they're not trying to create new fans. I don't get it, right? When we think about it from a Star Wars perspective, right? They're trying to every franchise, Star Wars, or whether it's Game of Thrones or anyone else, they want to create new fans, right? That's how you make sure your franchise is sustainable, right? On this show, I'm kind of like, I'm looking things up. I'm an old guy. I saw the originals. Some people might not have, or whatever.
And that's the problem. This is the battle of the prequels, right? You have House of the Dragon, and then you have Rings of Power. They're both prequels to very successful franchises. One is doing something well. Another one is not doing something very well. So a lot of it, I think, boils down to original marketing. So Rings of Power did a really fucking bad job of bringing the original nerds who loved the Tolkien, whatever you want to call it, the Tolkien estate, essentially, into Rings of Power. They alienated the shit out of the existing fan base. House of the Dragon was like, we're going to make a show. Everybody's like, fuck, I don't know if that's a good idea. Season 8 was not good, dude. And then they bring out the show, and everybody's like, yeah, that's fucking tight. Everybody's loving it. They're like, yeah, this is great. And there's nothing that exists in that show that you can't understand if you don't watch anything else other than the show.
100%. And 100%.
So They're just doing a better job. They're just better.
Do a better job for a third of the money. Which, when I say a third of the money, it doesn't resonate, right? It's like 400.
That's not an exaggeration.
And 135 million. It's literally a third of the money, right? When I'm talking about production value, but the story is easier to get your head around if you have no idea what the fuck is going on, right? The Rings of Power. I'm kind of like, I have to have the iPad, and I have to pause it. I'm like, okay, did I get that right? Did I not get it right? I'm like, what is going on?
Who the fuck is Elendil?
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters, by the way. I love the way he's
That's Aragorn's great grandpa.
Yeah, so I looked it up. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, that's very relevant.
He's the Aragorn of Rings of Power, essentially. Yeah.
But again, when it comes right back down to it, right? It's one more story about a disenfranchised king, right? It's like okay, here we go again. He's trying to bring his people back together, and the bad guy is rallying he's destroying everything, and you've got
there's so much to so much stuff still doesn't make sense, because Mordor, when Mordor's formed, it's far in the east, and right now everything is going on in the Southlands, and so it doesn't really make sense that everything is happening in the Southlands, but Mordor is going to be forged in the east, obviously at some point. And where the fuck is Sauron at this point? We don't really know what he's going to be or what he's created as. Why the fuck is Gandalf here 4,000 years before
who the hell is Adar?
Before
the
his
last
huge
episode is Adar, right?
Agar.
Adar, yeah. Who is it?
Agar.
It's A-D-A-R. A-D-A-R.
A-G-A-R?
No, D is in dog.
Adar? I think it's Agar.
No, in the did you not watch the last episode?
I didn't watch with subtitles on, but
they're like bring him to Adar, right? It's Adar. In the very end, this person is walking. I'm like, who the hell is this? I have no idea.
Looks like the Elven King. I need to grab a drink. Can you satisfy the humans?
I can. We have 17 people here.
17 people still here?
I know, right?
I feel so bad. I'm sorry. I haven't been watching the chat. I've just been talking to my buddy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Valientes is up in here. AA or not? I don't think I've seen you here before. Hello.
AA or not.
Welcome. Might as well make an IP. A new IP if you're going to spend hundreds of millions, just change all the history and lore and alienate the fans you want to attract by using the IP to begin with. This is the struggle, right? Might as well make a new one. I tweeted frickin' Star Wars the other day. Even Meggie liked it. I was like, hey, what you did with Kenobi was bad.
I saw that tweet. I was like, wow, he was very harsh with the tweet.
I was just honest. I don't feel like I was overly brash with what I said. It was just what happened was a travesty, and if you're going to be cack-handed, then do it with your own creations, not with the creations of somebody who's more creative than you are. I don't feel like that's all that harsh. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll be here. There's Eli. What's up, Eli? Oh, no. Oh, I'm back again. Good to see you, Eli Martin. Saw you in person. Who else is here? Valientes. I have to say, Kenobi, we know the series was a little bit challenged, but what's up, Ronnie? But I still thought that behind the scenes that they did, it was still very nostalgic, right? I mean, they were there, again, Ewan and Hayden, they were watching the whole high ground thing, and Hayden looked at you and he's like, oh, you told me about the high ground. Then Ewan's like, yeah, I mean, the high ground, if I had a nickel for every time I've been out and about and anyone said about the high ground, he said, I'd be very rich, right? So, I mean, some of that stuff was very, very funny. You need to watch, if you haven't watched the return of the, what was it called? The return of, whatever the thing they did on Disney Plus Day, behind the scenes, you should watch that. Whatever you think about the Kenobi series or not, Return of the I don't remember what it's called, but watch it. Yeah, so I do have a lot of boxes behind me. I actually did buy. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I bought the Andor. The Andor one. I've got the Groot, and then I haven't put the Sky together yet, and then of course the castle, and then we have to have the Aston Martin from James Bond. It's the Craig Bond. So I have a lot to do.
What the hell are you doing over there?
Are you back? A Jedi's Return. Thank you, Nathan Emmert. I couldn't remember the name of the thing. I was rambling on about the behind the scenes Kenobi thing called the Jedi's Return.
I really don't want to hear about it.
But you should watch it. You should watch it because they had some good things at the beginning with Alec Guinness and also George Lucas and some of the prequel stuff with him and Ewan, and then Hayden also. I'm back again. Took himself out.
You saw what they did to my boy.
Oh,
What they did to my boy. You want me to support something with that show after what they did to my boy?
you should watch it. And one of the things that Hayden said in that behind the scenes, he said, George Lucas told me, he said, even after Anakin became Darth Vader, he was still the chosen one.
Always was.
Still is. Right? You should watch it. It's an hour. It's an hour.
You know what the fucking problem is, man? Do I want to see Ewan and Hayden together? Yeah, and I've seen clips. Of it. And does it get me choky? Of course it gets me choky. I get misty. Those are my boys. Those are my childhood fucking heroes. But what they did in that Disney show is unforgivable. You understand what I'm saying? They did that on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Stop being so dramatic.
I can't, dude. Like, honestly, that was my shit. That was my shit growing up. And South Park did a really good job of portraying how I felt about it. Have you seen that South Park episode where George Lucas just fucking rapes Indiana Jones over a pinball machine? Yeah. That's what that felt like. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was bad. And anybody that in earnest defends Kenobi has some serious fucking things to think about when it comes to Star Wars. You got some real fucking questions to answer for yourself when it comes to Kenobi, because that was not okay.
All I'm saying is the behind the scenes, it was nice. It was nice to watch.
I'm sure the behind the scenes was 10 times better than what we saw on Kenobi. How could it not be? It's the people that we love.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of good things from D23, right? They didn't announce Book of Boba Fett season 2. They didn't announce Kenobi season 2.
Let's take the wins where we can get them. Wunderbar.
But I have to say again.
Thank you, dude. Toxic positivity is a real fucking thing, and it goes both ways, dude. You can be like way too gnarly on the negative, and you can be way too gnarly on the positive. I feel like I'm still fighting to tread that middle line.
Like I've told you before about Kenobi, right? Whatever you do or don't care for about the series, right? What impressed me again watching the behind the scenes is how much both Ewan and Hayden appreciate the franchise.
That's the part that hurts me the most, dude.
Right? Appreciate their opportunity to be involved, right? And they can't. Of
course.
They didn't write the story. They did what they needed to do.
They were players in a bad chess game, man. That's the part that drives me nuts, is like, and that's what I said when I wrote that tweet. I was like, they deserve so much more than what you gave them. They deserved so much more. I mean, you're talking about Goliaths in an IP that, I mean, dude, those guys fucking rocked the world with what they did. And what they were given was so fucking scraps. It angered me to the point that I I don't even know what to say, Rissman. Like,
but
I couldn't get on YouTube. I couldn't talk about it. Like, what the fuck do you want me to say? They fucked him. Look what they did to my boy. That's all I can say.
Here's an honest question for you. Who do you think made out worse in the way the character ended up being portrayed? Either Ewan as Kenobi in the series, or Hayden as Vader, or Tem as what they did for Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. Which one got the biggest dicky stick?
To me, honestly, like, nobody has won. In the past 3 projects, like, nobody won. Ewan didn't win, Hayden didn't win.
Who's the biggest loser of those 3? Come on. You know the answer. Will knows the answer.
It's Ewan.
No. Tem got the biggest dicky stick.
Yeah, no, I feel like Ewan lost big time because, like, the Kenobi that we got by George's hand is so far above and beyond the Kenobi that we got in that Disney show. I mean, look, how are you going to say that Boba got dealt a bad hand when we didn't even know who the fuck Boba was? We really didn't even know who Boba was. We knew who Kenobi was. That was not the fucking Kenobi. I mean, again, you can argue this until you're blue in the teeth, but the Kenobi that I got in that fucking show is not the Kenobi that I knew in the original trilogy, and it was B, not the Kenobi that I knew in the prequel trilogy, and C, it wasn't even the Kenobi that I got in all the expanded universe content that I knew as well. So it was just this weird, awkward fucking dude who it just didn't. You're gonna tell me Obi-Wan Kenobi's gonna stick a kid under a fucking trench coat and try to walk out of an Imperial facility? Like, no, what are we doing here?
What I'm telling you is the Kenobi we got by the end of that show was much more what I remember as the Kenobi that Ewan portrayed in the prequels than
no, it wasn't.
Anything we got with fucking Book of Boba Fett. By the end, you know, he's out there, he's eating the fruit or whatever, and he's like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, and you know, I'm still here, and you know, oh my god, for me, it's a very, very
look. They've been throwing us fucking chalk. That's the bottom line. They've been throwing us chalk, and I don't fucking care if somebody gets mad at me and they're like, I'm unsubscribing from your channel because you don't like Star Wars. Guess what? I do. I fucking love Star Wars. The shit that they've been giving us, those three fucking horrible things that they gave us, demand better. It's not a bad thing to demand more from a company. You're not a bad person for wanting more. You're not a shitty person for wanting good storytelling. You're not a shitty person for wanting your characters to be respected. That doesn't make you a bad person. So be okay with being mad at what you've gotten. I mean, don't be a shitty person, like don't be a shitty person about it, but it's okay to be angry about what we've gotten. Like, no, that's not okay. It's not okay. You need to do better, man. Like, do better. These are very, very, very influential figures to a lot of people. They influenced a lot of people's lives at a very young age and were formative to a lot of different people. It's not just some fucking corn stalk you can sell off at 75 cents a kernel. Like, these are very important things to a lot of people. And so for me, it's just like, do better, man. Just do better. I'm not gonna, like, you know, light Disney on fire and piss on the ashes. I'm just saying, you have the money, you have the ability, you have the talent. Demand better of your storytellers and just do fucking better. That's it. I'm not asking you to be George Lucas. Just do better.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying.
Rant over.
I'm just saying from a character perspective, I think, and maybe it's just because the bar was super low, right? But I think they ended up doing a better job with Kenobi's character than they did with poor Tem in Book of Boba Fett. I really do.
I mean, like, if Book of Boba Fett is bedrock, then yeah, they made it to like sediment with Obi-Wan. I'd like to at least hit like top water. I mean, ultimate goal is shooting for the sky, but I mean, we didn't. If this is the bottom, this is bedrock. That was Book of Boba Fett. Like, here's Kenobi, and then like here's where the water starts. Like, I'm trying to get all the fuck way up into the sky. Let's get as close to happy that I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall. Maybe this is why I stopped YouTubing so much. It's because I don't know what the fuck to say.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to keep on with it. None of it was preferable, right? But for me, I'm kind of like, I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, well, you know, when I think about the characters and what they did and what I found to be the least disagreeable of everything we were presented, for me, I think it was Kenobi's character, right? By the time we got to the end of that series, but that's okay.
Yeah, they were shoveling it, and I just, dude, I wasn't buying it. I just wasn't buying it. That's the bottom line. I wasn't. And I want to be excited about Star Wars. Like, if I'm hopping on a camera and talking to people on the internet, like, I want to be excited about this stuff. So I just saw the Mando season 3 trailer. Shit looked tight. Yeah, it looked good. Andor, super pumped on Andor. I think it looks fucking amazing. You know what I mean? If I hear Kenobi season 2, I'm gonna fucking throw a bowling ball through my computer. Like, stop. Just stop. Stop. Do something original. Create a new idea. You were handed an IP like Star Wars, and there is a literal fucking universe. It's like being handed a key, right? And then you stick it in the wall, and then the wall opens up, and there's literally an entire other fucking universe with a trillion things you can do. You can't come up with anything else other than rehashing characters from somebody who was far more creative than you and try to rehash them to try to draw attention to it. Like, fucking be creative. Stop being so morally and creatively bankrupt. Fucking do something. Oh my God, I can't. I have to stop. I'm gonna get so fucking mad, dude. Because like they just fucking can't. They just can't fucking create somebody new. They can't do a new thing. They did it once with Rey, and people were like, that was shitty. And they're like, well, we better never do that again. Let's make 16 stories, origin stories about characters. Like, do something new.
Well, that's the reason why we're not getting another Star Wars movie until 2026. Or, I mean, man, I still think it's 2025. It's so funny. I've been ranting about this on some of these streams for a long time now, right? And then like earlier today, I was like, everyone's like, well, we're not getting another Star Wars movie in 2025 and all this rest of the stuff. I was like, I've been saying this fucking bullshit now for some time. Dude, it's not possible. We're going to get Rogue One re-released for 3 more years.
We're not going to get a movie till 2030. Hardcore. Like, not going to happen.
It's you know, it.
I'm frustrated, Matt. I'm frustrated.
Listen, they need to let hot take. They need to let Lawrence Kasdan do Solo 2. Right? They need to let Bryce Dallas Howard wants to do a Star Wars movie.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Lawrence Kasdan has said he's like I'm ready to do Solo 2. Let's go. He was interviewed. Right? These
Solo
folks,
2, huh?
Dude, let somebody who has an interest do something.
Think Solo 2 is gonna do? Would you think Solo 2 would do well?
No.
Honestly.
No.
No, it wouldn't.
No.
It's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be.
You're going to do that shit. All I'm saying is some of these folks like Kasdan, like Bryce Dallas Howard, right? You know, they're interested, right? And instead, everyone's like, oh no, nobody wants to do a Star Wars movie, and you know, Taika's dancing around it, and you know, and Rogue Squadron is on again, off again, and Patty Jenkins and all the rest of this, and I'm like, guys, you know, we're never getting another Star Wars movie unless they give it to somebody who really wants to make a Star Wars movie. So for me, I'm like, if the choice is no Star Wars movie or Solo 2, I'm sign up for Solo 2.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't know what the fuck else to say to you. No. Look, Alden did. If I had to pick like one guy to do like the origin, dude, Alden did such a good Solo. He did great.
Oh, he's the reason why the movie failed. Did you not hear?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kathleen. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Alden's the reason that the movie flopped. I forgot. That and Star Wars fatigue. I forgot about Star Wars fatigue. I'm so tired of Star Wars. What kind of fucking moron says something like Star Wars fatigue, you fucking idiot?
The little got holdoed, right? It was the holdo maneuver. It's just like right through Alden's asshole. Right, that's the reason why the movie didn't do well. Got a Reva. It was an early Reva ramming. It's like boom, it's just done. It's so fucking stupid, man. It's so odd.
Star Wars fatigue. I love how she said that, and then they built a fucking park to Star Wars. They're tired of Star Wars. We should probably build a fucking theme park. Anyway.
I personally thought and still think that the story they told in Solo, a Star Wars story, is a good Star Wars story.
It's a good story. Good story. Good story. Yep.
Yeah, I've rewatched Solo many more times than I've ever rewatched The Force Awakens.
I agree 1,000 times that the story told in Solo is a good story. The execution was trash.
Oh, Ron Howard. I mean,
just my thought.
But
there were a lot of hands in the pot with that movie. There were too many hands in the kitchen with that movie.
If it wasn't for Ron Howard, it wouldn't even have been as good as it was.
Yeah.
Right.
But that Mim-Bomb scene, dude, they should have elaborated on the Mim-Bomb scene. They needed to get him in the pilot academy. Like, there was so much shit they could have done that would have made that movie so much better. So much better. And you know how I feel about the last name, buddy.
I know you can't get
past. How did Han Solo get his last name? I'm by myself. Daddy, can you give me a last name?
I get it. But Donald Glover, amazing, right? There's so many good things about that movie.
I loved the weird fucking droid
You hated it
thing. It was so Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy was literally like, yeah, we're not doing that again. Yeah, probably a good idea. So, X, just to piss you off, Boba Season 2 or Solo 2?
That's an easy answer.
Solo 2. I'd take Solo 2 over Boba 2. No, fuck.
I was going to answer the other way, actually. Because I think if they did a Boba Season 2, Tim would be like, here we go, right?
Well, they can't wreck Han anymore than they already did. They fucking killed him, so...
Yeah. I know. I still...
Solo failed because of Star Wars fatigue. Let's build a hotel and charge people fucking $6,000 to stay in it.
Listen. The funniest thing about this is the Smuggler's Run ride is based on Solo. It's coaxium. It's Hondo is there. It's everything about it is Solo. I'm like, okay, it didn't feel good, but let's give one of our e-ticket rides, because that was the only ride in Galaxy's Edge. It's all about The whole train is there and everything. I was like, really? Oh yeah, it didn't do good. The whole ride is around it.
There's just this little magic link missing, and this is something, you know, I've been in all of my videos, I try to somehow explain exactly what it is, but it does it. This is the problem, is that Star Wars under Disney feels cheap, if that makes sense. Yes, there's some great stuff, but it's lost its magic. What was it that made it magical, right? It was the mysticism about it all. There was just this kind of magic around Star Wars. And I think that the problem is that Disney buys Star Wars, okay? Everybody goes, look, they can still tell magical stories because it's Disney. They're the magic, right? Where did they lose it?
Well, I was going to say the rest of the reason why it was magical is they did all these amazing things on a shoestring budget to begin with, right? And this is why the ILM documentary that they did, that Kazan did, was so amazing.
I loved that documentary.
Right, but they did all of this groundbreaking stuff on no money, right? And, you know,
but Rissman, you didn't see that when you watched it.
You didn't, and that's my point.
You felt it.
Yes. And now they have all the money, they have the stagecraft, they have all this technological magic, and it feels cheap.
But so think about this. For like Meg and I, you know, the millennial Star Wars fans, prequels, all blue screen, still felt magical. Why?
They did a lot of modeling also. The blue screen was new.
Fucking Doug Chang.
Yeah,
let's get a what up for Doug Chang, my boy.
Yeah, and he's still at it, right? He's still. That's why every time something feels a little bit off,
he was in on the sequels and shit too.
Yeah, they bring Doug Chang out. He's like, "Well, I'm still here, and we did this, and you know, George told me that." And
At this point, he's like, "I'm doing everything I can," and there's like a gun to his head. He's like, "I promise, I'm trying to make Star Wars."
I feel like this is how it goes. I feel like it's like someone's like, "It's fucked up again. Someone get Doug Chang. Doug Chang.
Somebody call Doug.
Bring Doug
Where's
Chang
Doug?
out. It's
Thailand? I don't care. Get him on a fucking flight out here now.
They're really mad at us. Bring Doug Chang out. Here he comes. Oh, Doug Chang, you know, we did these things and everyone's
There's just this weird little disconnect, right? So, I mean, you can tell that, like, even on Kenobi, they really tried, but it's missing. I mean, even when you watch the behind the scenes, you see everything that they did. There's this weird new thing where now they're using, like, NeoPixel lightsabers as a reference point instead of... I would green screen or rotoscope. So obviously, like, original trilogy was the rotoscope. They used a little motor with the mirror blade and shit like that. And then obviously in, you know, I would go back to prequel. I do a blue stick on a green screen. Like, it looks so much better. And they're like, well, it's more natural lighting. And I'm like, okay, how much fucking natural lighting did you see in the 6 movies that occurred in Star Wars?
I have to tell you honestly, and I was thinking about this these last few days as I've been watching both House of the Dragon and also The Rings of Power, right? Both of those series, to me, from a production value perspective, looks much better, much more polished than anything I saw in Kenobi or even in Book of Boba Fett, right? Even though they're touting the volume and all the rest of it.
Book of Boba Fett looked better than Kenobi.
Yeah, but neither one of them looked as good to me as either Rings of Power or House of the Dragon. And I'm like, that's old school, right? They don't have those.
Remember, there's no lasers, there is no lightsabers in any of those.
I get it. I'm just talking about.
Give credit where credit is due to a degree.
I'm just talking about how wide everything seems. Right? My biggest complaint, whether it's been
Kenobi wasn't wide.
That's what I'm saying. It's very narrow. Right?
Yeah.
Everything
and dark.
And dark. right?
Yeah.
And everything we've seen with especially Rings of Power, but even House of Dragon, it's been very wide. It's been right.
I don't know if anybody else noticed this. So Mando season 2, when Luke is in the hallway, they fucked up the saber shots. They missed one because Luke has a Shoto saber in one of the shots. Totally fucked it up. But in Kenobi, there is this real like high school play look to everything that's going on. Does that make sense? Like a high school play or like a fanfic look to it. Because you can tell the difference between when they're doing a wide shot and they didn't edit a saber in, and then when they're close together and then all of a sudden there's like there's a saber going. There's a total difference between the two. And it why?
It's inexcusable, right? I mean, it feels very sloppy or very rushed. Maybe both of those things are the same, right? But it feels very unpolished. How about that? How about
unpolished?
How about that?
You're talking about the show Obi-Wan motherfucking Kenobi. 1 through 6. The guy has been there. You're talking about the Grand Wizard of Star Wars, like the fucking dude. And you fuck it up, and you fuck it up.
They again, it feels very cheap, right? This is why I say it's the volume that Stagecraft has enabled them to cheap out on the production value.
Yeah, but that shit was happening on set.
Do
you remember when I leaked a video of the guy getting pulled by the cable?
Yeah.
I was like, man, I really hope they get that saber right in post. And then we watched the show, and I saw a NeoPixel lightsaber, the same fucking one I have sitting on my wall, on camera, unedited, same fucking saber. Kids in high school could do that same shit. You hook a pickup truck up to a bungee cord with a fucking bull vest and a NeoPixel lightsaber. Guess what, Disney? I'm doing the same thing. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Well, it was COVID, right? I mean, it was a COVID problem.
I'm gonna reach through the microphone and punch you in the jejunum right now.
There's no excuse for it. I can't excuse it. And it just feels.
Explain to me the positivity and how it makes sense there. So you and I are saying, look, that's not acceptable, right? But you and I both know there are multiple people, not only in our community, but the other communities that you serve, that would say, you're a piece of shit for not liking it. Why? Why?
They didn't even bring Doug Chang out to say there was no Doug Chang in the behind the scenes Kenobi. Then it's like, no, he's like, nah, fam, I've done my part now. I'm not coming for this one.
It's
just,
just,
like, you're all on your own.
For me, the most frustrating. Oh my god, indigestion. I just got broccoli and vodka out of my throat.
That's not nice.
The most frustrating part for me is that, you have other Star Wars fans, people who love the prequels maybe as much as I do, maybe more, that will say, you're not a real fan because you didn't like that show. And I turn around, I almost feel like, I'm never going to gatekeep and tell somebody they're not a real fan or anything like that. But I watch it and I'm like, how can you be okay with this? Like, what part of your brain is okay with watching what you just watched and saying this is great? I don't get it. One of the big ones for me, I love, like, Charlie. Charlie, right? Charlie Lone Wolf. Charlie? Yeah, Charlie. Charlie loved Kenobi. And I know he's a massive Star Wars fan. I know he's a Star Wars fan. Like, there's no debating Charlie's a Star Wars fan. He's got the 1980 Empire Strikes Back original vinyl set on his wall that I sent him. The guy's a fucking Star Wars fan. 100%. He loved it. I hated it. He's not the kind of dude that's going to be like, you're a piece of shit because you didn't like it. What is the motivation behind being toxically positive? You're not a real fan if you didn't like it. You don't actually like Star Wars.
No, but I don't think he said that to you.
No, he never did. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a positive fan who loved it. He would never say something like that. But there are fans that are like toxically positive. They're like, you're a piece of shit if you didn't like it. And I'm like, this is bad.
It's so funny that you mentioned this, right? I had a negative interaction in the comments around EBN had put up the whole Rian Johnson's like, oh, I don't forgive, this is I'm still proud of The Last Jedi. That was the whole spiel that he did, right, in that. So I don't want to go into all, I'm not taking us there, right? But in the comments, right, I put a one-liner, right? I put a one-liner and I was like, the greatest teacher failure is, right? And then I said, except when it isn't, LOL. And so somebody I'd never met them before, don't know anything about them, right? They latched onto my comment and they started onto me about, you're just one of those toxic people that doesn't like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And, you're just putting a soundbite and you don't know anything about it. And, everyone who doesn't like The Last Jedi is an internet troll. And I've been researching this. I'm like, dude, I put a one-line comment and you're presuming to know everything about me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not that easy, right?
They do know everything about you. If you don't like The Last Jedi, you're a fucking piece of shit.
So I'm like, you like the movie, right? He's like, well, you can't tell me why you don't like the movie, blah, 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 blah. I was at your wedding, right? And I had to put it away. And then the next day I was like, okay, we can do this. And I wrote a paragraph about what I didn't like about it.
Matt, don't fall into the trap, bro.
I know, I did. I wrote a paragraph and I'm like, listen, I was like, actually, the thing I like the most about The Last Jedi is Yoda, right? But I felt like they used him as a get out of the jail free card.
More impactful than
Yeah, and I'm like, don't presume everyone who doesn't like something that you like is a troll, right? We can all have our own opinions, and just because you like it and I don't like it, it doesn't mean that we're diametrically opposed and all these things. I don't.
Ronnie brings up a good point, man. Why is it just a piece of the shit? Can't we be the entire shit? Words of wisdom from the mouths of babes. You know what I mean? From the mouths.
I never heard from that guy. I never heard from that guy again, right? But I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why there is an assumption that everyone who doesn't like something that someone else likes in Star Wars is automatically a troll. Right, that's where it goes to, and I'm like, why do you think that? And you're like, oh no, we have, blah blah, whatever. I was like, well, that doesn't epitomize me, right? I cannot like something and not be someone who's not liking it just because I'm in a community of people who are not liking it. I can have an opinion. That's my own opinion.
This is a pervasive issue in American culture. Right?
It is.
This spans far further than just Star Wars.
It does.
This is a very deep issue that occurs in not only Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. This goes into American culture. This goes into societal groups. This goes into political groups. This is a problem with the United States right now, is that we can't just be friends, right? We can't just be. Why? What? You don't like blue slushies? I'm a red slushie. Ugh. like it's this massive headbutting, and nobody's willing to be intelligent enough to just fucking talk about it or do anything. They just can't. They just can't. And I'm having a really tough time being a part of it.
Well, you have to continue to be a part of it, right? I mean, we have to be active advocates for sanity, right? When it comes right down to it, right? As much as what we deal with is often insane, if there is nobody left still trying to be sane individuals and having a conversation,
And we've lost.
we have. And I have to tell you honestly, one of the most interesting experiences I've had recently has been at your wedding, right? With your pastor and other folks who obviously saw that I was a Star Wars fan, right? And I had a conversation with your pastor, with the person that married you and your now wife.
Good old Greg.
About the redemption of Ben Solo as a character.
Greg did?
Yes.
What?
We had a conversation on the porch of the mansion about Kylo and Ben and the redemptive arc and what
My pastor.
Yeah. And what happened in all of this and how about how his children have come into the franchise and are anyone who thinks that Star Wars is dead from a franchise
He
perspective,
will never die.
from creating new fans perspective, I never got into a fist fight with anyone I met in person and who's
Star Wars.
who's been talking about Star Wars. Like, oh, you're a Star Wars fan. Let's talk about what about this and what are you
I don't know. You did
about?
fuck George Lucas once. I thought about punching you just right in the fucking kisser. Just a nice one right there.
But literally, I had a very deep conversation, with your officiant about Kylo Ren, right, and Ben Solo and what happened and did he get redeemed?
It's
And
news to me, man.
it was amazing, right? And there was no contention there. There was no, well, you think one thing and I think the other thing, and fuck you for thinking that, or any of the rest of it, right? Because it was a very personal. We were in person. It was very personal, right? And it was like, hey, this is a great conversation. I was like, who would have known, right? Who would have known we ever had this kind of a conversation, right?
Yeah, especially with Greg. Greg is like a pastor from, yeah. I'm actually shocked. I don't know what to say. Yeah,
dude, for me, it was amazing, and I have to tell you honestly, I was like, I kind of needed it, right? It was kind of like, what, we're just real people who love this.
Did the pastor give you a come to Jesus moment?
I've come to Jesus and gone away from Jesus and come back to Jesus.
I know. It's a real struggle.
That's a whole different story. I was raised Baptist, right?
That's the other late night.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But I was just I just reflected to myself. I'm like, this is what it's all about, right? This is, and even today I had my Stormtrooper shirt on and I was out eating and everyone's like, oh, you got the Stormtroopers on, what's going on? What about Andor and what are you looking for? People are just like, they're still so excited about this stuff without the overhead of some of the things that we see on.
Imagine if Star Wars was as hype as it was in fucking 99 again.
It's not dead. Right, it's not as much as we might try and kill it unwittingly. Right?
As much as Mike Zero does to try to kill Star Wars, we will continue to fight.
Like, subscribe, remember, future Star Wars content. Just make sure.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and for future Star Wars content. Should I start making videos like that, Matt?
I hope not. Please don't.
Brie Larson is apparently back in very much Star Wars.
You know, it's like I say, it's a different. It's always a different phenomenon when we get out and we meet people in person. Like today, I was sitting in my dive bar, and the guy next to me he's like, "So you're a big Star Trek fan, right?" I'm like, "No,
Love it.
no, Star Wars." I told you on the plane. I got stuck on the plane. You know, coming back. He's like, "Oh, you're a fan of the Empire." He's like, "Look at this," and he had like every model of the TIE Interceptor. He had too many TIE Interceptors.
Bro,
But
he
he's
does
doing it on
sound
his
like
phone.
my
He's
fan.
like, look at all this stuff. And I'm like, that's really awesome. I'm like, well, how is this happening? Right? It's still very real and it's still very personal, and the franchise is still very much alive.
Doesn't Ronnie sound like Mike Zero?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
totally sounds
Especially
like
with
Mike
his
Zero.
inflection, right?
And so the goatee is missing.
Yeah.
My name is Ronnie, and don't
Star
forget
Wars
to
man.
subscribe and sign.
So when we get down in the dumps and we think, oh my god, you know, bullshit, blah blah, whatever, I'm kind of like, we got to pull ourselves back out and go out and talk to anybody, right? And say what's up, right? You know, anything about Star Wars? You know, what do you think? What do you like? You know, and before you know it, you're having a conversation with the pastor about the redemption of Kylo Ren. You know, it's so very peculiar. So very peculiar.
Yeah, nobody's gonna fuck Star Wars up for me. Bottom line, I've had people influence my thoughts before when it came to what I think about Star Wars, but at this point, I'm just so frustrated. I'm so fucking frustrated with where we are. I just need a W, man. I need a big win. I need a big win to be like, okay. And I'm going to be doing the whole Andor review with Jay, who's not going to be happy with the show, obviously. And I'll probably make some enemies being like, hey, I really like this episode. And they're going to be like, you fucking Disney shit. You piece of shit. You fucking suck the cock of fucking Mickey Mouse. And I'm like, whatever. It was a good show. I liked it. I don't care. I just want to be honest.
Well, first, let's see if it's actually good, right? And that's number one.
Well, that's number one, yeah.
Right. But number two, I mean,
think it's going to be good.
Oh, I have no doubt, right? But Gilroy is like, he's like, I'm not a fucking Disney show. I'm not even a Star Wars guy.
Gilroy
right?
don't give a fuck, dude.
He's like, I know how to write shit, right? I'm Mr. Bourne. I'm Mr. Michael Clayton. He's like, motherfuckers. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not Joby Harold. Right?
Dude, the show's fucking good. I'm not gonna shit on it. Bottom line.
He's like, I'm not fucking around. He said it's not for 10-year-olds. And then he was like, if you don't like it, fuck you. It's basically what he said. He's like, if you don't like it, fuck you. He's like,
Praise be to you, halacha. Praise be to you. Nomine Patri Filii Spiritus Sancti. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
I've got
Please.
1,500 pages of script here, right? I have a plan. If you don't like this, fuck you and come back never.
Thank
He's
God.
not-
Thank God a fucking showrunner said that, though. Like, please, give me
He's
some
like, I'm
fucking
not-
truth. Like,
He's like,
I'm so tired of fake bullshit.
He's like, I'm not here to tell you all filler, no killer, all killer, no filler. He's like, just.
Oh,
I'm not
but
gonna
you do not say Bobby Rod's line in my house anymore.
It's like,
You do not say Bobby Rodriguez is fucking dead to me. All right.
He's like, just come and watch the show, and if it's not for you, then don't watch. And I know that's like he's just being real.
Emotional
Like,
kaba? What does that mean? Emotional kaba.
he's like you have to think on the show, right? You have to come ready to think on this show. And if that's for you, cool. If it's not, don't come back.
It's for me. That's for me. That's a show for me.
I know. I see the Felicity's like the Vespa.
Dude, fuck Bobby Rod. I
Well,
really don't
that
like
was
that guy.
Jon Favreau. The Vespas were 100% Jon Favreau.
That was John.
He
I
wanted the Vespas because he thought it was an homage.
I don't know who the fuck to trust
George
anymore.
Lucas.
Bottom line is I can't trust anybody.
It was all that. That was all Jon Favreau. It's all Jon Favreau.
Fuck John.
No more
Fuck
writing.
John. Fuck Dave. Fuck Kathleen. We need to. Fuck. I don't know what we need. You know what they should do? Just put you and me in.
No, I don't want.
No, I think you and I. We could probably do some good.
I don't want.
I think you and I. They put us down there with the old, Lucasfilm doing new stuff and stuff.
No,
I think we can do pretty good.
I don't want nothing to do with it.
Well, what are you talking about? We could do good.
No.
I'm gonna make my first show would be Jedi Jimmy Two Shoes. A big guy, he's got 2 left feet. He's a Jedi, but he's got 2 left feet. You know, he grows up in a rough neighborhood, but he's got a lightsaber. You know what I'm talking about?
We just had that show. It was called Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Two Shoes.
He wanted to rule with respect. Right? He was good. That was Goodfellas. We just watched it.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's good. He did real good. As long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a cartel. God, Goodfellas is a good movie. All right. Fuck. Well, it's been excuse my French. It's been an hour and a half. We did it. I was laying in bed about to fall asleep, and you were like, I'm headed home. I was like, man, we should have done a late night. And you're like, yeah, we should have. So let's do it. All right.
And we did it.
Yeah, we should.
And now
we did it.
You're gonna fade off into the sunset. You're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I'm riding off. I'm riding off into the sunset. Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. Might take a week off when I get back. I don't know.
3 weeks.
But, I don't know. Dude, I want to make content again. I love this stuff. I love these conversations. Looking forward to talking about some of this stuff. I'll be honest with you though, the stuff they've been putting out doesn't really warrant my attention at this point. So I haven't really been making content about it. So
we noticed no content. You don't have to tell us.
I know. Yeah, no, I get messages. When are you making a video? When's your next video? What are you doing with your next video? I feel bad, but you guys are just going to have to watch, Critical Drinker or Geeks and Gamers or, I don't know, some other shit. There's somebody else will make you happy.
When's your next video?
I'm like the 4 out of 10. There's a lot of 9 out of 10s out there. No. Enjoy their content.
You're gonna be making your own Andor content, right? Though once you come back from for the cruise.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with Andor when it finally comes out.
Yeah, but if it's not good, then don't make the content. Obviously,
dude, I'm just not really good at being like mega neggy.
I understand.
I don't like being super negative. Bottom line, unless it's so shit, I have something to talk about. Yeah, I can't be fake mad.
But you can be real mad easily.
Oh, I can be real mad real quick.
Fake mad, no, but real mad. We've seen it.
Fake mad, I cannot be fake mad, but I can be fucking real mad real quick. Kenobi, real mad. So we'll see what happens. Everybody, thank you so much for showing up tonight. I can't tell you how much it fucking meant that you guys are here tonight. I'm leaving tomorrow, going on my honeymoon. I'm not going to be around. So I honestly thought we were going to have like 2 viewers.
No, we had.
I honestly didn't think anybody was going to show up, but Vori and Felicity and Ronnie and Jay and Valley and all my fucking homies and Weaving.
Star Wars Make.
Miggy showed up and Nathan and all the freaking homies. Dude, a bunch of homies showed up. So thank you guys so much. I can't tell you how much it means to me because it's not easy to just like pop on a camera and do this. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this and I will see you in a while.
Please click the right button. Please, you know which button to click to end it.
I'm looking at the button. I think it's the right button.
Good.
Button.